Welcome to the No Guilt Fangirls Podcast, where liking what you like is never a bad thing. Here's your host and head fangirl in charge, Patty Holiday.
Hey y'all, welcome to the No Guilt Fangirls Podcast. I'm your host and head fangirl in charge, Patty Holiday, and we are recapping and discussing the final season of Schitt's Creek. This is season 6. It's the last one, and we're a little bit sad about it, but we're also, we're really enjoying this time together, aren't we, Jamie?
We are. I love it.
I do too. I have my friend Jamie Saylor on the line, and if you have listened to any of the Schitt's Creek episodes, then you know Jamie, and she's back as she has been after every brand new episode with me to kind of digest and discuss what we liked, what we maybe didn't like, and where we think this season is heading with the final wrap up of the Rose family saga. All right. And if you haven't guessed it, this is, of course, a 100% spoiler episode. So if that's not your thing, if you haven't listened or if you haven't been able to watch the shows yet, if you are not interested in spoilers, then you have permission to bounce on out. I totally get it. But I do want to just repeat, that's your warning. It says it in the title, but just in case, that's what's going to happen. And we are talking about this is episode 6, right? Are we on episode 6? And it's called The Wingman.
It is episode 6.
Yeah. Okay. So episode 6, The Wingman. We both just finished watching it, so it's kind of hot and fresh in our minds. And all right, let's do it. So, Jamie,
Okay.
give us that recap of what we just saw, and let's go from there with The Wingman.
Okay, sounds good. So we started out with David and Patrick enjoying some morning coffee and some banter and knock at the door to get their new coffee table delivered and blast from the past. It's Hot Jake delivering their and David and Patrick are both a little bit flustered by seeing Jake, and there's some heavy flirting going on, and that was kind of fun to watch. And then we moved to, actually, I think we opened up on the morning show. I'm sorry. We opened up on the morning live with Barb and Lizzie, which was a new show. And they were
Yes.
interviewing Maura about the big premiere event with the crows. And Alexis was feeding her some cue cards so to make sure that she didn't to stop talking about streaming, as she reminded her. And then we went to David and Patrick. And then the other big thing that was going on was Ronnie was back and a little saucy this episode. She was back because she has Bob as her roomie because Bob and Gwen sadly have broken up. So she's trying to get some help from Roland and Johnny into helping Bob move on. So, and then the other thing, which I know we're going to dive into a little bit more, is Ted and Alexis. They had some video chatting going on, and you could really see some conflict coming up. So trying to work through that. So those are the highlights.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Whew, this one is one of those episodes that I didn't love, but I think that's because we're hitting some uncomfortable or potentially uncomfortable plot points here. First of all, the whole Patrick and Jake flirtation thing had me just rolling because David was just sitting over there smugly laughing over the whole entire experience. And I thought it was really cute. I did like that
Yeah,
one.
it was really adorable. And at the end, he even's like, "You're blushing." It was,
Yeah, he was teasing him. It was
yeah.
very cute. I think my favorite part of this whole one, though, was when Alexis has found a way to spin that whole debacle with the birds, with the
Hmm.
crows, and that they're now making it sound like it was a planned publicity stunt. Nobody was hurt. Everybody was all actors and everything was fine. It was all a stunt, and everybody is eating it up. And I love that, how they've taken what should have been like this debacle and she is just rocking it into this awesome career. And she's getting accolades and she's getting all those flowers were sent for her. And I loved that.
Did for Alexis, but it kind of when she walked in and saw the flowers, and then Moira just sounded so sad when she's like, "They're all
Oh, I didn't take it that way
okay,
at all. I
okay."
took it as that she was very
Oh,
proud of the fact that they were all for her and that her daughter had done such a good job. And like when she pulled her onto the morning show and
mhm,
stuff, I took Maura as being very proud of Alexis, but more as a mom, she was sad because she knows, as a woman who's like trying to make a name for herself in a business and a very tough business, she knows that Alexis shouldn't leave.
yeah,
However, as a woman who also found her true love and whatever, she also understands that maybe Alexis needs to leave. And so I think that's where Moira's sadness might have that you were vibing on. That's where
yeah,
I got it from, was
okay,
that it was more that she was thinking, yes, they're all for you. You've done this amazing job, but now that means you have this big choice to make. It would have been easier if this whole thing had been like more low key, and you know what I mean? Like if
yeah,
it hadn't. That's the way I took it,
I
was
like
that
that
she was
better.
being a protective. Yeah, I felt like she was being a protective mom, not that she was sulking
Okay.
that they weren't for her. That was the way I interpreted it. I could be wrong, but that's
No,
how I saw it.
and you know what? That makes sense because, part of the whole story of the roses is how they're all growing, and Moira is finally growing into being a mom.
Honestly, right, right. It's never too late.
Right.
It's never too late, Maura. So I did like that, but then that did flip us to the sadness that comes out of this episode. Well, there's two kind of sad things. First of all, poor Bob.
I know.
Bob
I
is so
know.
sad and so pathetic, and this whole Bob story. While I had to laugh with the Ronnie side notes, and that did she. I'm glad to see her get some time, in the show. I just felt so awful for poor Bob the whole time.
He's so heartbroken over poor
He
Gwen.
you know what though, Gwen's doing whatever Gwen wants to do, and that's like the funny thing is that she's obviously having a grand old time and has her next male cousin over.
Right. I did laugh at that.
So I don't feel bad for Gwen.
Yeah.
I think Gwen's doing what Gwen needs to do, whatever that may be. But poor Bob is just not handling this at all,
You're
not well at all.
No, he is just devastated and can't really seem to wrap his mind around
Hmm.
moving on.
When Johnny dresses him in his own suit to take him out for that, I thought he looked good, and I was like, "You get it, Bob,"
Yeah.
but it's Bob. So do we really think that's going to work?
Yeah, and I just can't imagine that there's a giant sea of women for him to choose from in Schitt's Creek.
Correct, correct. Yeah, that was yeah. So the Bob thing, I don't know. This might be a case where a little bit has gone too far for me.
Yeah,
That was the other thing too, is that I'm kind of like, I don't want the Bob and Gwen thing to be like the primary focus of this whole season, you know?
right. Again, I'm going to trust my boy that he's going to come through with something at the end.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure he will, but yeah, that's where I stood on the Bob episode. The Ted and Alexis one, my husband was watching it with me, and he was like, "Oh, do you think Ted is cheating on her? Do you think that?" Didn't he mention like somebody named Chris or Kristen or
Yeah.
something? And I was like, "No, I feel like Ted's a pretty solid dude. I just really think he's aware that how miserable Alexis would be and how great she is where she is. And so I truly think that's just coming from the goodness of his own heart and love that she should stay there.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but that's my gut feeling, is that he's doing that, but I think he's not prepared or expecting her to break up with him, which is I think what's coming.
I see. I'm still holding firm that I hope that doesn't happen. I just think that Ted kind of has known from the get-go that this whole Galapagos thing wasn't really for Alexis. And I think he's
Mhm.
just trying to
Mhm.
do what he can to make them both happy and be able to live their dream and
Mhm.
hopefully come back together in the end and work everything out. Is that too much to ask?
Well, I mean, I think it is, but I don't know. That's my feeling, that I don't think they're going to end up together. I think they're going to both end up where they're supposed to be and however they're supposed to be, which honestly, I would be really okay if Alexis ends up without a man. Like I'd be okay with that. That would I don't need another love, to enter her life to take her away from Ted, but I would kind of like to see her standing on her own two
Yeah.
feet and just, being okay with that. If her and Ted end up together, I am also totally team Ted, so I'm completely fine with that if that happens. But that's just not the vibe I'm getting. I'm definitely going in the they're going to drift apart for now direction.
And it makes sense. And maybe Alexis's story is that she can be okay on her own 2 feet,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm. Yep, I kind of feel like that's the trajectory we're on. But I'm thrilled for Moira. She's got this little smash hit, but of course, I think that's going to turn into some crossroads where they're going to have to decide if they're leaving Schitt's Creek or not. And I don't like that because I'm team Johnny in the sense that I'm glad that he's kind of found his place.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how it would play out, and I obviously Stevie's still in the mix, and Stevie had a great little almost cameo type of appearance tonight when we didn't
Yep.
talk about they went over to Jake's house for whiskey because they thought they were going to have a little uh action going on, so to say. And Stevie is there and like, "Can I have anything for myself?" And I was like, "Yeah, Stevie, you tell him."
Yeah, she was an unexpected surprise at their event, at their soiree.
Yes.
But but I liked it. I liked the fact that she was there and that she was basically like, y'all can leave now. And they're like, yeah, we should all leave. And she's like, no, you can leave.
Yeah,
Hey, get it, girl, get it.
right? I'm not mad at you, Stevie. I am not mad at you.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. All right. Well, I think that we've pretty much kind of given our feeling on most of the major plot lines.
Yes.
Any quotes or anything that you really loved? The one that made me laugh the hardest, I think, was when David said, "This coffee table really brings out your lips."
Yes. So, I don't know if you picked up on this, but, like, I almost feel like this season has a lot of little, like, Easter eggs for us. With next
Hmm.
week, I can't even say his name, so I'm not even gonna try, the wine episode. Um,
I can't say it without saying it the wrong way.
right,
That's gonna get me, censored
right.
by the people in China. So, yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
that's why I didn't even try. Um, so that looks really funny next week, but in this episode, after, they had their little run-in with Jake or whatever, there was David sitting on the couch eating a mall pretzel.
Yes, yes. I love the fact that he was eating a mall pretzel again, and he's not gonna feel any shame or guilt over that.
Yes. And I saw after the episode ended, I was kind of flipping through Twitter and somebody tweeted at Dan Levy and said, "I'm going to make up a drinking game every time your character eats or drinks something on screen. I'm going to have to take a shot." And Dan Levy said, "For the love of your liver, please do not do that."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Um, and then I thought it was really funny when Ted was talking about that the sea turtle had laid eggs, and Alexa said, "Ooh, fresh omelets."
I know. No, no, not exactly,
That's
Alexis.
gonna disrupt the whole ecosystem.
All right. Well, it was another, again, this whole season, and I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if I've even mentioned this before. Maybe we did. I should go back and listen to my own episodes. I don't remember. But do you wonder if, first of all, they feel shorter, which I'm sure they're
Yes.
not, but they feel shorter. But I also think that, at least the way I watched it, and I think the way you watched it, didn't you get to watch like a whole season in one set, not in one sitting, but I mean, you were able to watch it without all the interruptions of like the commercials and
Yeah.
whatever. So there was a specific flow going.
Yep.
I'm wondering if that's my problem, is watching it live is not making me love it as much, or if it really is, I don't know, the content or where we're going with it, or are they holding back and the second half of the season is just going to blow me away? Like, what's up? I'm not sure. I'm, don't get me wrong. Nobody, don't get me, I'm happy with it. I'm satisfied enough. I just don't have that same fluttery, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I love Schitt's Creek, that I did, particularly from season 2, 3, and 4. Those were the 3 seasons that I really wish I can watch those 3 seasons over and over and over again. Nothing against 1, nothing against 5, but those are those 3 in the core middle are my favorite. And so I just feel like this one, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's good. It's solid. It's very much, along the lines of what Schitt's Creek is about. So it's not like I'm disappointed, but I don't have that pulling of love consistently. Now there's been like 2 episodes I think that we both
Yes.
really really
Yep.
liked, and then the other ones have just been kind of like this. So I don't know what it is. I was trying to figure out if it was because of the way I'm watching it
I
versus.
don't think so because I mean, for one thing, we're both, I'm watching it with my husband as well, and he's like, "Gosh," he's like, "It's over already." It seems to
Yeah.
go by really
Yeah.
fast. And I asked him after this one went over because I kind of wanted to talk it through with someone besides, my other fangirl. But I'm like, "How did you feel about it?" He's like, I mean, it was good, but he wasn't,
Yeah.
it's not one that I would go back and I wouldn't gravitate towards this season over other seasons.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm gonna watch it like that, like I said, those 3 in the middle are the ones that are my favorites. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I
Yep.
agree with you. We got plenty of more Schitt's Creek ahead of us, and we're just gonna trust in Dan and see what he put together for us. And I'm sure it'll be great.
Yes.
Again, not disappointed. It's just not. I don't know. Not
I
not
get you.
not the same. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, we will be back next week. Thanks for fangirling again with us and this episode of the Schitt's Creek season 6 recapping. And let me know what you think. If you're having those same feelings, I want to hear about it. We are both on Twitter, so hit us up. I'm at No Guilt Life. She's at Jamie Sather. And yeah, let's talk about it.
I'm game. I'll talk about it all day long.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here. All right. Thanks for being on the show again, Jamie, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Sounds good. Bye.